Hey guys, what is up? So you can probably see there's quite a clutter of stuff in front of me here. So today I wanted to talk about some film cameras that I recently bought and just my film camera collection so far. So the other day I managed to get my hands on some film cameras for £25. 3 cameras, bunch of lenses, couple of flashes, a whole bunch of stuff. Can't complain really. I have got some complaints though. Not all of this gear is usable and I have run into some problems with some of these cameras. So to start with, I'm going to talk about this Mamiya. Now I am going to use my GoPro to show like a close-up of all these things. So this is the Mamiya. Now the issue I'm having with this, I've got a battery for it, I haven't popped it in. I did test 2 batteries in this the other day though, which didn't make it work. When I wind this, I can't wind anymore, the mirror locks up. So you can see here, the mirror is locked up at the top and I can't fire a photo off of it. So this one currently doesn't work. I can click the double exposure button, which is just there, which will pop the mirror back down, but then once again, when I wind it twice, can't take a photo, and that works the same if I wind it once as well. So I currently cannot use this. This is the Mamiya DSX1000. I am going to look into how to repair this camera. So the next one that I actually got as part of this £25 bundle, I guess you could say, is this. This is the Olympus AZ330 Super Zoom. Now this does work, well I think it works. If I turn that on, you just hear there's a little low battery symbol flashing. If I turn it off again, where's the, there. See that little bit that appears just on the screen. I know it's not the clearest. It's saying it's got low battery. I haven't actually worked out, in fact I think this is the battery compartment here. So yep, it takes 2 batteries, and again I have got the batteries for this, but I've not popped them in yet, so I don't actually know if this works. I also need to get a roll of film to run through all of these cameras, so that's going to be a bit of an expense on my half, but I do want to see if this works, and this would be a fun camera to use for a kind of like challenge, mix it up a little bit. The final camera, like camera body, that I got in this £25 bundle is this. Now I'm so happy about this. This is the Canon Ae1. It's fully working as far as I know. I have got a battery in it already, and I'm just going to quickly flip my torch on because I've been looking at this lens and I'm not sure if there's anything wrong with it. So I've got my phone just here, just shining a torch into the lens because I want to see if the aperture fires, if the aperture actually moves, which we should be able to see. It does. So the aperture does close there, and if I open it right up, it should stay completely open and just flash at the back, so that's fine. Which means I have actually got 2 working lenses for the Canon Ae1. So now I'm going to talk lenses. So this is the 35-70. This I assume would have been maybe your basic kit lens that would have come with the camera. I believe it's classed as a mini zoom on the film cameras, and this actually came with the original box. So yeah, as I've just shown you, it does look like this lens is working completely fine, and this is a usable lens. And obviously with the battery in this, it winds, it does fire, which means it works. It doesn't work without the battery in, I did test that. The only thing that's actually wrong with this is there's a little like hinge piece on the battery door, which you can see that little bit that's dangling down. Let's try and get it on the white background. This little bit just here, it's part of the battery door basically that's broken off, and I can get a replacement battery door, but I'm not too bothered. It's just the door that's broken. Besides that, as far as I've tested, the camera works fine, which I'm really pleased about. And I've also got this Canon 50mm lens, which I have tested on the camera as well, which again works fine. It's a fully manual. It does also have, because this is an Ae1 program, I really hope I said it was a program before, I keep forgetting it's the program version. The program version of this camera basically means it can go into full auto. If you put it into program mode, you can set the aperture on the lens to full auto and the camera will just do everything for you so that you hopefully have properly exposed photos, which makes things a lot easier. I haven't currently shot with this camera, but I do intend to do a video shooting with this camera very soon. I got this Mittercon Compact 85-300 f5.6 automatic macro zoom lens, which I was thinking, great, this is going to be a really fun one to use. This fits the Canon, it's a Canon FD mount lens, and I was really looking forward to using this. But on inspection yesterday, and before I go into this, if you haven't already, make sure to check out my TikTok, which is Xplorography, the same as my channel name, which is just where I'm posting stuff about all of these film cameras individually in a bit more detail than I'm covering in this video. Now, I noticed something very strange yesterday. I'm not sure if the GoPro is going to pick it up. In fact, it is just about. You see that kind of speck there? Now, this is all over the front optic. You can kind of see it if I go quite close up. It's a bit blurry, but you can see there's a kind of fur inside the actual lens. And that's underneath the first bit of glass. That's actually mold or fungus that's growing inside the lens, which basically means I can't use it. I can still use it, but it will affect my photos, which obviously I don't want. I am going to try and use this at some point, but for the sake of 36 shots on a roll of film that costs about £5, I don't know if it's going to be worth it. So I might kit this up with the 50mm so that I don't waste all of my shots and have mould in the front of them. But I am going to try and use it if I can, just to show the effect of mould on a photo. It might look great, it might look really cool and a bit funky because it's a fungus, it's going to look a bit funky, but it might add a nice effect. I don't know. I am going to try and use that lens. I have been advised by my colleagues at Wex not to use it, but I'm stubborn. I'm going to try. Now, I got a couple other things with this as well. I did get a Canon Flash, which I have tested, and unfortunately it doesn't fire. Even with the test button, it takes AA batteries and it's not working. I'm really not upset. I'm a little bit disappointed that that doesn't work. However, I do have this flash, which is a Helios TS855 flash, and it has what I think is a light meter on the back, and it also came with this, again in its original box. This is a TS855 twin bounce flash, so it will flash twice within the time it takes to take a photo. It does take a while to charge. It's about a 3-second charge per flash, otherwise it will be slightly less powerful. Wide and tele adapter colour filter kit, which comes in this lovely little leather pouch, which if we open up here, comes with a bunch of different filters. So we've got a red, a blue, a yellow, a green. I believe this one's just kind of a basic diffuser. And then we've got this quite interesting little one, which I can't get out. It's really awkward to do all of this with one hand. But it's kind of like a magnifying glass. You can see it's kind of making my finger look a bit bigger, and it's kind of warping things. So I believe that's just like a magnified zoom, so that you can bounce your flash a bit wider if you're using a wide angle lens. I forgot to mention, I have this Canon Power Winder A, so this fits the A1, the Ae1 and the Ae1 program, and I completely forgot about this just now. I also have this, which came with it. With this on the Canon Ae1, which is here, I can get 2 photos per second with this. However, I need to clean this up because, as you can see, where's the GoPro? The GoPro is buried between a lot of film cameras at the moment. This is very, very corroded. So there's clearly been some battery acid leak in here. And this just takes AA's by the looks of it. but it's just too corroded, so I need to try and clean this up. I've been told to try WD-40, which I will try. I will try and get this cleaned up and see if this works as well. Because if this works, the Canon Ae1, I need to put a roll of film through to make sure that that works. And the lens for it. That means I got about 250 quid's worth of working gear, and I still haven't tested this for £25, so that is a bargain. I've got some other lenses which are down in this box again. Now these are all M44 screw mount lenses, which basically means they won't work on the Canon. They will have a work on my Ricoh, which I'm going to cover in a moment, and they'll also work on the Mamiya. Now again, the only issue with these lenses is that they are a little bit mouldy. Not on the outside, fortunately, otherwise I would be a bit hesitant to touch them. But on the inside of the lenses, they are a little bit mouldy. So it turns out I forgot to click record on my GoPro again, and I thought I'd just go and cover these three lenses separately right now. So these three lenses are, as I said, M44 screw mount lenses, so they will only work with the Mamiya and the Ricoh. They'll work with other cameras as well, just not any others that I've got. So I've got a Pentacon Electronic 2.8, which is a 29mm aperture of f2.8. And I have just found out something with this lens, which... there we go. So I've just found out with this lens there's a button on the side. My camera wants to stop focusing on my face. This is where the new Sony ZV-1 will come in great. There's a little button on the side. I'll just come out of shot so it focuses on this. There's a button just there on the side of the lens, which allows me, when I press and hold that, and then I turn the aperture, you can see the aperture closing inside. Which I didn't know. I just thought the aperture didn't work on this lens, but it's actually it's a bit like the button on the Canon, where there's a button just down the side of the lens where you click that and it's like a, I don't know what the exact name for it is. It's aperture preview or something, and that's basically what this lens has. So this lens, when I press that, has an aperture preview on it. I did notice there was a bit of mould on the rear optic of this lens, and on the front it looks quite cloudy, as if it's maybe sustained some smoke damage. Unfortunately I can't show you, my GoPro is currently on charge, so this is kind of as close as I can show, and with my camera not wanting to autofocus, it's not very helpful. So yeah, there's a bit of mould on the back and it's quite cloudy on the front. Again, I might try and use this lens if I can, but I don't think that's very likely. There's also a lens that I was really looking forward to using. This is the Helios 135mm lens, and it is an f2.8 again. And again, we've got like a lot of dust and what appears to be mould and scratching on the inside optic, on the front, and on the back it seems fine. This one might be okay to use, however, this has no aperture preview button, and I'm turning the aperture in the back and the aperture is actually locked. And there's a manual and an auto mode. There's a little switch just here. Again, I can't show it too well in this light. There is a switch just there, and in both modes the aperture seems to be stuck out at f2. And there's not really any movement in it at all, so I don't know if I can use that lens. I will try and get this lens repaired if I can. I'll either try and repair it myself or I'll get it sent off somewhere, because I do really want to use this lens, because the lens I use on my Ricoh currently is a 58mm Helios lens, and I actually shot with that in next week's video. I'm just waiting to get the film developed. But this is a Sigma 39 to 80 mini zoom. It actually does say mini zoom at the top just there. You might have to take my word for it, because my camera won't focus because of the auto face detection on my Canon camera. There is also a Vivitar skylight filter on here, but it is stuck. I have tried to loosen it with a knife, but there is no movement on that at all. and again there is a lot of mould underneath the front optic, so I'm probably not going to use those lenses. If I can get them cleaned up or fixed, I will, but trying to get old film lenses fixed nowadays can be quite difficult. The only other lens that I have, which seems fine, I've given this one a little bit of a clean and it seems to work fine, is this Sunagore. I assume it's it's a Japanese made. It's a 52mm screw on, and it's a fisheye adapter which would screw on to a normal lens. So it would say if this is 52mm, which it isn't. Which one's a 52mm? I'm sure this 50mm is a 52mm. So yeah, this can screw onto this 50mm, which has just made it into a fisheye lens basically. So now it's a 50mm fisheye lens. And in fact, let's grab the Canon. No. Let's grab the Ricoh and see how it looks, because it's an M44 screw mount lens. So let's just grab this. Let's have a look through this and see how it looks on a wide angle. So it is very wide. And now if I just show you without that lens screwed onto the front, there's definitely a difference. So I may try using this fisheye lens at some point, but I'm honestly not too sure if I even want to. Not because it's damaged or anything, just because I'm not a big fan of the fisheye look. I feel like it's a bit of a niche. Like, I don't even shoot with my GoPro out of linear. My GoPro's in linear or it's not shooting. I don't shoot wide. I think it looks horrible personally. And now that we've covered the new stuff, and the stuff that works and doesn't work, let's take a look at this Ricoh. Now, yesterday, so for me, Saturday, the 1st, I was out in Worcester. I went to see if I could go and get a battery for this camera. Oh, I managed to get the battery for it and found out that the light meter inside does actually work, which, where have I put my, there's my GoPro. If I show you on the GoPro, you can just about see it. When it's a bit temperamental, you can see from the front I'm flicking this small trigger and it's a little bit temperamental, but there we go. Now it's on. I can adjust the aperture on the front of the lens. Where's the aperture? I'm trying to find it with my little finger. It's at the front of the lens, and if I adjust the aperture, oh, it stopped working again. As I say, it's a little bit temperamental. There, it's going. So now if I adjust, why does it like looking out the window but not? Ah, maybe over here is just underexposed actually. So obviously out the window, it's very overexposed on this camera. So if I adjust the aperture, you can see it's moving. That's about perfect. And if I turn it down, obviously now it's underexposed. And you can see that I've got a Tinkerbell and some sun cream on my windowsill. So the light meter in this is working. So this cost me £2 from a charity shop with this Helios 58mm lens, and it works more or less perfectly. It's fully mechanical except from the... It's fully mechanical except for the viewfinder. The viewfinder, the range, no, the light meter, that's the one, which is electric. So we've got a fully manual focus ring on the front, a fully manual aperture which is fitted to the front of the lens, and a manual ISO which was known as ASA, and speed on the front. I was mainly shooting at 1/500th of a second yesterday because it was quite sunny, and that was the only way to darken what the camera was seeing besides the aperture, which sometimes at f16 it was still saying overexposed, so I had to shoot at 500 speed most of the day purely because I couldn't get the camera to go any darker and to expose it properly. This video will be out next week. I did a street photography POV with this. I haven't even reviewed the footage yet. I still need to get the film printed, which I'm going to do on my day off this week, and well, because I want to see what the photos look like. But this video with this camera doing a street POV is coming next Monday. The last two cameras that I own are this Zimmermann Luxette S, which was a gift. It was a leaving gift from when I was doing my product photography. If you followed this channel for a while, You'll remember it's up in one of these corners now. I did some product photography for Epic Militaria, and I loved it. They gave me this as a leaving present. The reason it's held on with an elastic band is because the glue has just deteriorated and the lens falls off. So I can't use this. It takes 128mm film, which you can't even buy. You can buy it from a site that I found called Analog Wonderland, but to get it printed, it's a case of sending off to somewhere like China, which, with the current situation in the world, I don't want to send anything to China. And then the last film camera that I own, I have featured this on the channel before, is this Polaroid 636 close-up, which again, video in one of these corners, you can see that this camera is fully functional, and this cost me just £15 from London Camera Exchange in Worcester, which is also where I got my batteries from. So make sure to go and check out London Camera Exchange. They've got a great range of both new and old, so digital and film cameras. Make sure to check them out. Yeah, that's it from me. This is my film camera collection. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. But until then, keep shooting. Peace. I'm really not good at this whole YouTube thing. I'm currently in the middle of packing up all of this stuff, and I realised that I actually forgot 3 other things, because there's that much here that I was bound to forget something. So these are the things that I forgot. Let's move these lens caps out of the way. So I forgot about this official Mamiya lens. This is a 55mm, so again it's your roughly a 50mm. Now it has a manual aperture, however I don't know if it works, because it kind of clicks around and it doesn't actually close up the aperture, which what that should look like. If I take the Helios off of the Ricoh, now it's a lot smoother on this Helios. As you can see, if I turn this ring, the aperture closes up. Now that's what should happen with that. So whether the aperture's stuck on this, I don't actually know. So I would use that, but it's for the Mamiya, which obviously has the issue with the mirror. I also have this ×2 adapter for the Canon. It's a Canon FD. It's by a company called Ozek, and it came again with the original box. Now that piece of metal shouldn't come off, and well, it does. The other thing that I got, which I do really want to use, now I have got some macro extenders for my 50mm for my DSLR, and I also now have these Vivitar macro extension tubes for the Canon FD lenses. So I am gonna try and kit this with the 50mm on the Canon Ae1 and try and get some film macro shots. But again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully I've not forgotten anything else. Gotta get this roller film developed for the Ricoh, and then that's for next week's video. So if I forgot anything else, you'll see me again in a sec. But hopefully I've got everything this time. See you in a bit.